Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this week's Facebook Live. My name is Deborah Byrne from DBpsychology Services, known across social media as DBpsychology. And this week I'm going to talk about this week's blog, which was all about doing a mid-year review. Now, it's a very big blog, and the reason it's a very big blog is because I divided it into two sections. One was for a personal review, and one then was for a small business owner doing a review of their business. So lots of questions up there, lots and lots and lots of questions. And I'll get to that in a minute. But why I'm doing a mid-year review, I have to get that right, is because most of us fail our New Year's resolutions by March, usually mid-March, but 90% of us, have failed and have let go of goals and have let go of, keeping ourselves on track with our goals. And now it's the middle of the year, lovely time of the year, June, to do this kind of thing and get yourself back started again or recentered and, get going and get the momentum. The nice weather can give you the momentum to get things back on track again and to do some things for yourself. In saying all that, these questions can be used at any time of the year, any month of the year, at any time, and you just do them. I've called it a mid-year review, but you can actually use these at any time to review personal goals, to review your life, to do the same again with the business. So this morning I will be focusing on to do a personal review, but the format is very similar for a business. Different questions, but go to the end of the blog. You want to skip past the personal stuff and just go straight down to the business. If you're a business owner, just go straight down there and you will find all the business questions you want. And then if you go down even further, there's a few other bonuses, and you'll be able to see them, and for both personal and business people, and you can take those on board as well. And as I always say, take what you like, leave the rest. So, personal review. The first thing I say to you is take your time doing them. Take your time doing, whether you're a business owner or whether you're personal. If this is a personal review, take your time doing this. Get yourself, if you're a paper and pen person like me, get your paper and pen out. In fact, you can download these questions. I have a free resource. I have a bundle of free resources on my resource page, which you can download, and you'll find that most of the questions are actually on those downloads. And you can take them, just download them, and then use the paper, print them off, and use that to do the review. So you can go to the resource page at www.DeborahByrnePsychologyServices.com, and you'll see resources. Just hit there. So do check that out. Now, so to start off a review with anybody, you do a review of the last 6 months. Take a review of the last 6 months and go through it and decide. Take your time. Really take your time. Write it down. Either do it on the computer, as I said, or do it in a journal, or do it, print those things out, those sheets out, as I said, and sit down and really do it. But the first thing you need to do is review your life. Review where you're at this moment in time. And I say in the blog, I say 6 months, but you could do a year. 6 months generally a good enough time and a good enough indication as to where you're at this moment in time. So that would be the first thing. Write everything down. Take the questions I put in there in the very first section. It says review the last 6 months. There's a whole list of questions there. Take them. Write down all your answers. Maybe take an evening to do it, a few hours, or take one question at a time. Whatever, if you've only got 10 minutes, one question at a time. But allot time in your planner. If you're going to do this, allot time to yourself, alone time, and do it by yourself. Take time to step back and really give it some thought, and dig in there and see what is going on. The next step, I say, is to dream big. Dream big, and dream big as you can. So it's a visualization technique. You're going to sit down, you're going to think about it, you're going to close your eyes, maybe do a little bit of meditation, center yourself, and then write down and just keep writing. Let it flow. Let everything flow. Because the more, if you do, it's a technique that you can use in terms of journaling. And it's free writing. This is what we call it. It's free writing. So you start off and you just start writing down all the things that are coming out of your head. And just put it all on paper and don't hold yourself back. Dream as big as you can. What way do you want your life? What do you want to happen in your life? And I give you some questions there again to help guide you. The third part would be to review your priorities. So now we're trying to hone it in and say, okay, I've reviewed the last 6 months. I have an idea of what I really want to happen in my life in the next 6 months or a year or 5 years' time. But now I've got to get real. I've got to get really real, and I've got to say, okay, what am I doing right now? So I review my priorities. So that would be your third step. You would sit down and you would review the priorities and say, what am I doing? What do I no longer want to do? Whose responsibilities am I taking on? And again, I have a whole list of questions there, but the main point about doing the review of the priorities is to be very honest with yourself. So sometimes we moan and we complain and we say, oh, I'm taking on such and such as responsibility at work. Oh, I'm doing all this. I can't, my employees are no good and they won't do the job correctly the way I do it. You've got to be honest with yourself, guys. Can you delegate? Can you hand back those responsibilities? Or are you holding on to them for some other reason? So the whole point of all the questions in the review your priorities section is to be honest with yourself. Because if you can't let things go, if you can't hand things back to people, you've got to really ask, why? Why can't I do this? What's going on with me that I can't do? I can't do these things. I also talk about, negative people, what drains you in that section. And also I talk about, starting a continual stop list. And I've already talked about all this before, and you can link it. I've linked it back out so you can have a go and have a look at the, you can have a look at the Facebook Live I did with that. I always put the Facebook Lives at the end of the blogs as well, so you can have a look at that. In talking about the priorities, if you've got things you have to stop, if you've got things you have to hand back, if you've got people you want to delete from your life because they're very negative, if you've got things that are draining you, energy drainers in your life, they in fact should be your first goals. They should be your first goals. To sort all that out should be your first goal before you then set the next goals. The next step would be stage 4, which would be to set goals for different areas in your life. Now, when I say that, I do go through all the areas. You can have a look at a life wheel if you like, but I do list out most of the areas. I think I've covered most areas in the blog. Have a look at those and decide, what am I going to prioritize here? You pick one goal for each area, but then go back and prioritize them. And why I say that is you're better off only working on one goal at a time. One big goal. This is a big goal you're talking about. Work on that and get that going and get the action steps going and have no more than 1 to 3 maximum priority goals for that big goal. Okay, so these are actionable steps. 1 to 3 actionable steps that you can take on a daily basis and get them in your diary. If you don't fill them in, if you don't allot time to do them, in a year's time, you're going to wonder, well, why didn't I do that? You're going to be thinking to yourself, why haven't I achieved this? It's because you didn't take the action. It's okay to dream big. It's great. It's great if you can decide what you want and want goals. But where most people fall down is they don't actually allocate time in their day to take one baby step even towards that. And the whole idea here is to take a small step, to take the smallest step possible. Because when we take a very small step, it's easier, it gives us a quick win, and it gives us a sense of achievement, and it moves us then on, because all the baby steps that happen build to the bigger goal, to that one goal that you want to do. As I said, there is a whole load of questions there. I basically walk you through it. I think I've covered everything that I could possibly cover in it. But if anybody has a question, I'm more than happy to answer it. The other thing I would say to you, in order to help you keep you on track, I do at the very end, I have a few other techniques that things that you can use. There's a monthly tracker and a list of questions at the end that you can use. There's a quarterly tracker. It's like every 12 weeks, which is a good thing to do. If, instead of leaving it for 6 months, 12 weeks, 12-week time limit is a really good time to do a review. And there is the questions you can ask yourself there. And those are both usable. All those questions are usable in life or business. There's also a bad day or an emergency kit that you can put together. A list of items that you could, ideas that you can put into a bad day. We all have bad days. We all need to have things that can boost our self-confidence. And putting together an emergency kit or a bad day box or kit is a good idea. There is also the word or phrase of the year. So I've talked about that in the blog. Check it out. Now, in terms of for business owners, the sections are the same. You review the last 6 months, how things have been going. You look at your what your plans and your goals are for your business. Dream big. Again, we would dream big. Again, you would review your own priorities. Can you delegate, and what you want to happen in the business, and then setting goals in the business. And I've listed them down. There's different questions there because obviously it's a business, not your personal life. But again, the same thing has to happen. You have to have those actionable steps, those small actionable steps in your diary. A lot of time allowed every day, at least, 1, but maximum 3 every single day. And again, you can use the trackers to keep you on track for a monthly to-do list, and keep you on track at a monthly and a quarterly basis. So have a look at the blog. Again, it's at www.deborahbyrnepsychologyservices.com. Set your goals, dream big, and have a great week. And there will be a new blog out on Monday as usual. And I'll talk to you again next Saturday. Thank you.